All right, I'm going to talk through some changes here so you can get some of the most common pathways of chords. So I'm going to start with a C chord in my right hand with my pinky on top. The reason I do that instead of this position is that I want to be able to add sixths, sevenths, and the octave on top helps me to stretch my hand out so these two fingers on top can do some nice additions off of the root position of the chord. With my left hand, you're going to see my thumb, but I'm always going to be following it with my pinky, so just assume wherever my thumb is, my pinky is dropped on the same note an octave down, right? So I'm going to start with a C, and then I'm going to do one of the very common moves, which is I'm going to play a major 6 chord, right? So that's an A7. So I'm going from C to A7. Now I jump that. If I use the inversion, and you saw my thumb went, one of the great moves is gravitating with that A7 through the C sharp to the minor 2. And if I use this position when I hit the minor 2, my thumb can add a nice 7th on there, right? And that leads me to this position of my 5 chord G, which I can add a 7th on, or even throw a 9th, and roll my fingers for a little melody. So if I start on C here, look how easily my hand just grabs these two notes, and these two notes are right there for the A7. Right? Nice. Now, I'm going to move from that 5 to minor 3, minor 6, 2, 5, 1. These are the changes. So minor 3 would be E. And look how my hand went from G to E, one note changed to E minor, and my finger right here falls on the minor 7, which is nice. This is a great position of your minor 3rd because it can also lead back to your 1. So when I want to go to my A minor from here, this pinky and this finger are the 7 and 5 of A minor, so when I move to A minor, and you notice I played a single note with my finger, which I can switch back to my octave, or I can use that to do any little walks or anything, but from that minor 7th chord on my A minor, minor 6, I can go to my minor 2, which is D minor, with its 7th underneath, so here's 1, minor, 3rd, and 5. And when I go back to a G7, I can use this. So here's our G with our minor 7 on top. Maybe raise the 5th for a little tension. And that slides right onto the 3rd of our 1 chord. So now I'm going to take those changes, I'm going to run them a little quicker, and I'm going to give them a little bounce. If I want to start giving some motion to that, you saw me do a little walk with my fingers here. You can do cool little chromatic walks. When I go, it's like I let my pinky fall, so I'm getting some separate movement in the octave in my left hand. But now if I want to take that and I want to maybe step on the pedal, I'm going to sit down here, and I want to play some variations. Instead of that A7, I'm going to start from this C position and I'm going to use C sharp diminished 7th. The only difference between A7 and C sharp diminished 7th is that single note. You start to recognize those things and then you can use that as a choice. Now I use my inversions to walk through. Right? And then my minors, maybe I'll roll it down. I just literally moved that up to the position of an F major 7, which makes it a D minor 9. Interesting. And rolled it down into my G, into my E minor, and I moved through some of the inversions with the 7 intact. And doing that little 7-1, 7-5-3. There's my nice position for my A minor 7. And all that's just off of these chords. I'm wiggling my fingers a lot. And then I play a minor 3rd and a minor 6, and then a minor 2 and 5 is what I got. And then I wiggle. So when my hand is here and I'm playing those chords, I'm not moving side to side because I don't want to. And my hands are gravitating towards the closest inversions to all those chords. And that comes from practicing. So if I want to do this song with a inversion practice in it, and that's when you start to take that structure and you start to add on to it different notes.